Dr. Dae-ho Kim looked at the small glass container in his hand. Inside was something that should not exist. He had created it, but even he did not fully understand what it was. The clear liquid seemed to move on its own sometimes, like it was thinking. "Dr. Kim, it's past midnight. Shouldn't we go home?" Ji-soo Park stood in the doorway of the lab. She was young, smart, and the only person who believed in his work. "Just a few more tests, Ji-soo," he said, not looking up. "This batch is different. It's learning faster." The underground lab at Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology was quiet at night. Most people had gone home. Only a few lights were on. Dr. Kim liked it this way. Here, 20 meters below Seoul, he could work without people telling him his ideas were too dangerous. Ji-soo walked over and looked at his computer screen. "The adaptation rate is 3 times higher than last month," she said, surprised. "How did you do that?" Dr. Kim allowed himself a small smile. "I stopped trying to control it. I gave it freedom to change itself." Before Ji-soo could answer, the lights flickered. The computer screens went black, then came back on. "Power problem?" she asked. Dr. Kim frowned. The lab had its own power supply. It should not have problems like this. He carefully put the glass container back in its special cooling unit and locked it. His phone buzzed. Then Ji-soo's phone buzzed. Then all the phones in the lab started buzzing at once. Dr. Kim pulled out his phone. It was an emergency alert. "Stay indoors. This is not a drill." Ji-soo was already looking at the news on her tablet. Her face went pale. "Dr. Kim," she whispered, "you need to see this." She turned the tablet toward him. On the screen was a live video from downtown Seoul. The sky was filled with strange lights. Not stars or planes or satellites. Something else. Something big. "It's happening everywhere," Ji-soo said, her voice shaking as she swiped through more videos. "New York, London, Beijing, everywhere." The lab phone rang. Dr. Kim picked it up. "Kim here. This is Director Choi," said the voice on the other end. "The president has ordered all top-level research secured. Do not leave your lab. Military personnel are coming to secure your facility." "What's happening?" Dr. Kim asked. There was a pause. "We are not alone, Dr. Kim, and our visitors don't seem friendly." The line went dead. Dr. Kim put down the phone. His hands were steady, but his heart was racing. He had always believed that life existed beyond Earth. Now he knew it was true. The building shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. That felt like an explosion. Ji-soo said, fear in her eyes. Dr. Kim turned on the emergency TV in the lab. The news showed massive ships hovering over major cities. They were huge, dark, and shaped like nothing made by humans. In Seoul, one floated directly above the city center, bigger than the tallest buildings. Then the TV went static. When the picture returned, it wasn't the news. On screen was a creature. It looked almost like an insect, but much larger. Its body was covered in what appeared to be both armor and technology. Its eyes were large, black, and empty of emotion. When it spoke, its voice was mechanical but understandable. People of Earth, you have 7 days to surrender your world. Resistance is futile and will only cause unnecessary suffering. Your species is inefficient. Your time is over. The screen went black. Ji-soo looked at Dr. Kim. What do we do now? Dr. Kim turned and looked at the cooling unit that held his creation. For years, people had called his work dangerous and unethical. Now, it might be humanity's only hope. Now, he said quietly, we prepare to fight back. 3 days had passed since the aliens arrived. The world was in chaos. People filled the streets, some trying to leave the cities, others just looking for answers. The alien ships stayed in place, hovering silently. Dr. Kim had not left his underground lab. The military had come as promised, setting up guards at every entrance. No one was allowed in or out without special permission. "The president will speak in 5 minutes," said Jisoo, looking at her tablet. She had dark circles under her eyes. None of them had slept much. Dr. Kim nodded and turned on the small TV. Other scientists and soldiers gathered around to watch. The lab was crowded now, filled with important people who had been brought here for safety. The president appeared on screen. She looked tired but strong. "My fellow citizens," she began. "Today, representatives from 195 nations met with the beings who call themselves the Vresh. We hoped for peace. We offered friendship. We were rejected." The room was silent. Dr. Kim felt his stomach tighten. "The Vresh have made their demands clear. They want our planet, not to share it, but to take it. They see us as," she paused, "a wasteful species. They believe they can use Earth's resources more efficiently." A soldier near Dr. Kim cursed under his breath. "We have been given 4 more days to surrender," the president continued. "After that, they will begin what they call resource conversion. They will start with our largest cities." Jisoo gasped. Dr. Kim put a hand on her shoulder. "We will not surrender," the president said firmly. "We are already working with all nations to prepare our defense. I ask all citizens to follow emergency instructions and stay calm. This is humanity's darkest hour, but we will face it together." The broadcast ended. The room erupted in voices. "What can we possibly do against their technology?" someone asked. Before anyone could answer, a new alert came through. All screens in the lab switched to show a military feed. The United States, China, and Russia had launched a coordinated attack against the alien ships. Everyone watched in silent horror as missiles rose toward the massive ships. Some missiles simply stopped in midair, then fell. Others exploded before reaching their targets. Not one touched the alien vessels. Then the Vresh responded. Beams of light shot down from their ships. Military bases disappeared in flashes of light. Aircraft carriers sank. Missile silos collapsed. It was over in minutes. Earth's strongest weapons had failed completely. "They could have destroyed everything," Jisoo whispered. "They're showing restraint." "Not restraint," Dr. Kim said grimly. "Efficiency. They don't want to damage the resources they came for." A loud knock on the lab door made everyone jump. A soldier entered, followed by a man in a colonel's uniform. "Dr. Kim?" the colonel asked, looking around the room. Dr. Kim stepped forward. "I am Kim. I'm Colonel Han-Sol Ryu, Korean Defense Force," the man said. "We need to talk privately." Dr. Kim led Colonel Ryu to a small side room. Jisoo followed them. "Sir, I've been authorized to explore all options," Colonel Ryu said once the door was closed. "All options, no matter how experimental or dangerous." Dr. Kim's eyes widened slightly. "You know about my work. Your file says you've created something adaptive, something that can change itself to overcome threats." The colonel's eyes were intense. "Is this true?" Dr. Kim hesitated. For years, his research had been called too risky, too unpredictable. Now they wanted to use it. "It's not ready," Jisoo cut in. "The adaptive is still experimental. We don't know if we can control it once it's released." "Do we have a choice?" Dr. Kim asked quietly. He looked at the security feed showing the alien ship above Seoul. "In 3 days, those things will start destroying our cities." Colonel Ryu nodded grimly. "The military has a saying, better a dangerous friend than a certain enemy." Dr. Kim took a deep breath. "Then I need to show you something. But first, you need to understand. Even I don't know exactly what we've made." Dr. Kim led Colonel Ryu and Jisoo to the back of the lab. They passed through 3 security doors, each requiring Dr. Kim's fingerprint and eye scan. The final door was thick steel. "No one comes in here except me and Jisoo," Dr. Kim said as the door opened. "What you're about to see has been my life's work for 12 years. They entered a small, cold room. In the center stood a clear cylinder filled with a bluish liquid. The liquid moved slightly, as if something inside was stirring. "This is the adaptive," Dr. Kim said. "It's not a weapon in the way you might think. It's not a virus or bacteria or chemical. It's something new." Colonel Ryu stepped closer to the cylinder. "What exactly am I looking at?" Dr. Kim typed a command into a nearby computer. A large screen on the wall lit up, showing the liquid at a microscopic level. Tiny structures moved and changed shape as they watched. "I started by combining advanced nanotechnology with synthetic biology," Dr. Kim explained. "But then something unexpected happened. It began to evolve on its own. It developed abilities I never programmed into it." On the screen, one of the microscopic structures changed shape, growing tiny extensions that reached out to other structures. "It learns," Jisoo added. "It adapts to threats. If you attack it one way, it will find a defense. Attack it again, and it remembers the first attack and responds faster." Colonel Ryu's eyes narrowed. "So it's intelligent?" "Not exactly," Dr. Kim said. "Not like us. It doesn't think or feel. It just," he searched for the right word, "reacts, evolves, changes, but extremely quickly." "And you believe this could hurt the aliens?" Colonel Ryu asked. Dr. Kim sighed. "In theory, yes. If we could get a sample of their biology, the adaptive could learn to target their specific weaknesses. But there's a problem." Jisoo cut in. "We can't control what it adapts into. Once it's released, it will do what it needs to survive. There's no way to stop it or call it back." Colonel Ryu walked slowly around the cylinder. 3 years ago, your funding was cut. Your project was called too dangerous. Now I understand why." Dr. Kim nodded. "The review board said I was playing God. Maybe they were right. But I couldn't stop. Not when I was so close." The door behind them opened. A woman in a lab coat entered. She had sharp eyes and moved with purpose. "Colonel Ryu," she said, "I'm Dr. Soo-Bin Choi, head of microbiology at the Defense Research Institute. I was told you were down here." Colonel Ryu nodded at her. "Dr. Choi, thank you for coming so quickly." Dr. Choi looked at the cylinder with a mix of horror and fascination. "So this is the famous adaptive. I read your papers before they were classified, Dr. Kim. I thought your theories were impossible. Yet here we are," Dr. Kim said quietly. Dr. Choi moved closer to the screen, studying the microscopic movements. "How fast does it adapt?" "Hours, sometimes minutes," Jisoo answered, "depending on the threat." Dr. Choi turned to Colonel Ryu. "And you want to use this against the Vresh. Do you understand what you're suggesting? If this works, it could save humanity. If it goes wrong, we could face something worse than the aliens." The room fell silent. On the screen, the adaptive continued to change and move, unaware of the discussion about its fate. "We need a sample," Dr. Kim said finally. "Something from the aliens. DNA, tissue, anything biological. Without that, the adaptive won't know what to target." Colonel Ryu checked his watch. "As it happens, we have something. Yesterday, a small Vresh craft crashed near Incheon. The pilot was killed. We recovered the body." Dr. Kim and Jisoo exchanged a look of surprise. "You have an actual alien body?" Jisoo asked. Colonel Ryu nodded. "It's being transported here now. We need to work fast. We have less than 3 days before they begin their attack." Dr. Kim looked back at the cylinder. "If we do this, there's no going back. Are we really ready to unleash something that even we don't fully understand? Are we ready to watch our world die?" Colonel Ryu asked simply. No one had an answer for that. 6 soldiers carried a large metal box into the lab. They moved carefully, as if afraid of what was inside. Dr. Kim, Jisoo, Dr. Choi, and Colonel Ryu watched in silence as the box was placed on the main lab table. "Full protective gear," Colonel Ryu ordered. "No one touches anything without gloves and masks." Everyone nodded. They put on protective suits, gloves, and face shields. The soldiers stepped back, their hands on their weapons. Colonel Ryu entered a code on the box's digital lock. With a hiss, the lid opened slowly. Cold air poured out. Inside, wrapped in special plastic, was a body. "Is it dead?" Jisoo asked. "Very," Colonel Ryu said. "But we don't know much about their biology. Be careful." Dr. Kim leaned over the box. The alien looked like a mix of insect and machine. Its body was about the size of a human, but thinner. Its skin was a dark greenish gray and seemed partly metallic. Where a human would have a face, it had something like a mask with 4 black eyes. "It's not what I expected," Dr. Choi said. "Look at the arms. The joints are both mechanical and biological." Dr. Kim nodded. "They've merged with their technology. Fascinating." "Can you use this?" Colonel Ryu asked. "Yes," Dr. Kim said. "We need tissue samples, blood if they have it, anything biological." They worked quickly. Dr. Choi carefully cut samples from different parts of the alien body. Jisoo prepared slides and ran tests. Dr. Kim studied the results on his computer. "This is unlike anything I've seen," Dr. Kim said. "Their DNA, if we can call it that, uses a different base structure than Earth life." "Is that a problem?" Colonel Ryu asked. "No," Dr. Kim said. "It actually makes our job easier. The adaptive will be able to target their unique biology without affecting Earth life." A loud boom shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They're getting closer," Colonel Ryu said, checking his phone. "The Vresh are setting up some kind of machines around the city." "We need to work faster," Dr. Choi said. Hours passed. The sounds of destruction grew louder above them. The team worked without breaks, testing how the adaptive reacted to the alien tissue. "It's working," Jisoo said finally. "Look." On the screen, they could see the adaptive attacking the alien cells. It was changing shape, developing new structures that could break down the fresh biology. "Now we need a delivery system," Dr. Kim said. "A way to get the adaptive to the aliens." "Air," Dr. Choi suggested. "If we can make it airborne." "Too slow and unpredictable." Dr. Kim shook his head. "We need something direct." Colonel Ryu stepped forward. "What about their machines? The ones they're setting up around the city. If we could introduce the adaptive into one of those, it could spread through their network," Jisoo finished. "Their ships and machines seem connected." Dr. Kim nodded slowly. "It could work, but someone would have to get close enough to a Vresh machine to introduce the adaptive." "My team can do that," Colonel Ryu said. Another boom, closer this time. The lights flickered. "We're out of time," Dr. Choi said. "The Vresh said 7 days. It's only been 5. "They lied," Colonel Ryu said grimly. "They're starting early." Dr. Kim looked at the adaptive in its container. "We're not ready. We've only run preliminary tests. We don't know all the possible outcomes." "What choice do we have?" Jisoo asked. Dr. Kim closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his decision was made. "Prepare 10 delivery units," he told Jisoo. "Small injectors that can penetrate their machines." "What about the risks?" Dr. Choi asked. "Once we release it." "I know," Dr. Kim said quietly. "But as you said, what choice do we have?" As they prepared the injectors, filling them with the adaptive, Jisoo noticed something on the screen. The blue liquid was moving differently now. "Dr. Kim," she called. "Look at this." The adaptive was forming patterns, almost like writing. Then it shifted again, forming what looked like a map of the lab. "Is it communicating?" Jisoo whispered. Dr. Kim stared at the screen. "That's impossible. It doesn't have that level of intelligence." But as they watched, the patterns continued to change, becoming more complex. "What have we created?" Dr. Choi whispered. Colonel Ryu checked his weapon. "Whatever it is, it's now our only hope." Night had fallen over Seoul. The city that once shined with bright lights was now mostly dark. Fires burned in some buildings. The huge alien ship still hung in the sky, glowing with a faint green light. Colonel Ryu and his team of 6 soldiers crouched behind a destroyed bus. They were 2 blocks away from their target, a tall, tower-like machine the Vresh had placed in the middle of a square. "Remember," Colonel Ryu said to his team, "get close, inject the adaptive into the base of the machine, then retreat immediately. Do not stay to watch what happens." Each soldier carried 2 small devices that looked like thick pens. Inside each was enough of the adaptive to start the process. Back in the underground lab, Dr. Kim, Ji-Soo, and Dr. Choi watched the operation through small cameras attached to the soldiers' helmets. The screen showed dark streets and broken buildings. "They're getting close," Ji-Soo whispered. On the main screen, the blue liquid in its container continued to move in strange patterns. Dr. Kim couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching them. Outside, Colonel Ryu gave the signal. The team moved forward, staying low and in the shadows. The alien tower was about 30 feet tall and made of the same greenish-gray metal as their ships. It hummed softly, and small lights blinked along its surface. "No guards," one soldier whispered. "That's strange." "They don't expect resistance," Colonel Ryu said. "They think their show of force was enough." They reached the base of the tower. Colonel Ryu took out his injector device and looked for a place to use it. The surface of the tower was smooth, with no obvious openings. "Try the lights," a soldier suggested. "They might be sensors." Colonel Ryu nodded. He pressed the injector against one of the small blinking lights. There was a soft hiss as the adaptive was released into the tower. "First one done," he said into his radio. Moving to the second location. In the lab, Ji-Soo watched the screen closely. "It's working," she said, pointing to data flowing across her computer. "The adaptive is entering their system." "How long until we see effects?" Dr. Choi asked. "Hard to say," Dr. Kim replied. "Hours maybe. It needs time to spread and adapt." The team continued their mission, moving to other towers around the city. One by one, they injected the adaptive into the alien machines. Everything was going smoothly, too smoothly. "Last one," Colonel Ryu reported as they approached the 5th tower. "No resistance so far." Just as he pressed the injector against the tower, a bright light flashed above them. A small Vresh ship appeared overhead. "We've been spotted," one of the soldiers shouted. A beam of light shot down from the ship, hitting one soldier directly. He vanished instantly. "Run," Colonel Ryu ordered. The team scattered, ducking into alleys and behind buildings. In the lab, the screens filled with chaos, shaky images of soldiers running, flashes of light, the sound of something like electricity crackling. "Colonel," Ji-Soo called into the radio. "Can you hear us?" There was no answer. Then suddenly, all the screens went dark except one. It showed Colonel Ryu, alone, hiding in what looked like a subway entrance. "I think I'm the only one left," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "But we did it." All 5 towers were injected. A rumbling sound came through the radio. The camera shook. "Something's happening," Colonel Ryu said. He turned the camera toward the street. In the distance, they could see one of the towers. Its lights were flickering. Then, slowly, it began to change color. The greenish-gray was turning blue, the same blue as the adaptive. "It's working," Dr. Kim said, leaning forward. "The adaptive is taking over their technology." On another screen, they could see the container in the lab. The blue liquid was moving faster now, almost excited. Suddenly, a loud crash came through the radio. Colonel Ryu's camera swung wildly, then stabilized. "One of their ships," he said in awe. "It just fell from the sky. Crashed about a mile away." Dr. Choi looked at Dr. Kim. "It's spreading faster than we thought possible." "But is it still following its programming?" Ji-Soo asked quietly. "Or is it doing something else now?" They had no way to know. The adaptive was loose in the world, and all they could do was watch. Morning came. Dr. Kim had not slept. No one had. They stayed in the lab, watching screens showing news and military feeds from around the world. 3 more Vresh ships have crashed, Dr. Choi reported. 1 in Beijing, 1 in London, and 1 in Cairo. It's spreading through their network, Ji-Soo said. She pointed to a map on her screen. Blue dots were appearing in cities around the world, marking where the adaptive had been detected. Colonel Ryu had made it back to the lab. He looked tired, but his eyes were bright with hope. The military says the Vresh have stopped their attack. They're trying to figure out what's happening to their ships. Dr. Kim should have felt happy. Their plan was working. Instead, he felt worried. He kept looking at the container that had held the adaptive. Something wasn't right. Ji-Soo, he said quietly. Check the original sample. Ji-Soo went to the secure room and came back looking confused. Dr. Kim, the container is empty. All of the adaptive is gone. That's impossible, Dr. Choi said. We only took a small amount for the injectors. The rest should still be there. Unless it escaped somehow, Dr. Kim said, his voice grave. The lab door opened. A soldier rushed in. Doctor, you need to see this. He turned on the main screen. It showed a live feed from a street camera in downtown Seoul. The image made everyone in the room go silent. One of the Vresh towers had completely changed. It was no longer metal, but seemed to be made of a shiny blue substance. And it was moving. Parts of it were reaching out, touching nearby buildings, cars, even the ground itself. It's growing, Colonel Ryu whispered. Not just growing, Dr. Kim said. Learning, adapting, integrating with its environment. On another screen, they saw similar images from other cities. The blue substance was spreading, covering Vresh technology, changing it. What about the Vresh themselves? Dr. Choi asked. Is it affecting them too? As if in answer, the screen showed a Vresh soldier stumbling into view. Its movements were strange, jerky. Its greenish-gray skin had patches of blue. It fell to the ground and did not move again. It's not just attacking their technology, Ji-Soo realized. It's attacking them directly. Dr. Kim typed rapidly on his computer. I programmed it to target their specific biology. But it's doing more than that. He paused, searching for the word, assimilating them, taking parts of their biology and technology, and adding it to itself. A new alert flashed on the screen. Someone had spotted something on top of the main Vresh ship above Seoul. The camera zoomed in. A large patch of blue was spreading across the ship's hull. But this wasn't just a stain. It moved with purpose, forming patterns similar to those they had seen in the lab. It's becoming visible to the naked eye, Dr. Choi said in wonder, and growing larger. It's evolving faster than I thought possible, Dr. Kim said. It's using the Vresh's own advanced biology to improve itself. Colonel Ryu's phone rang. He answered, listened briefly, then looked at the others with wide eyes. The Vresh are broadcasting a message, but not to us. They're sending signals to space. They're calling for help. Ji-Soo looked shocked. They're afraid. The hunters have become the hunted. The main Vresh ship began to move. Slowly at first, then faster, it rose higher into the sky. They're trying to escape, Colonel Ryu said. But as they watched, the ship's engines sputtered and failed. The blue substance had spread too far. The massive ship hung in the air for a moment, then began to fall. It's going to crash in the bay, Dr. Choi said. Away from the city. They watched in silence as the ship that had terrified them for days crashed into the water with a massive splash. Is it over? Ji-Soo asked softly. Dr. Kim shook his head. No, I think it's just beginning. On his computer screen, the blue patterns were moving again, forming what looked like words in a language no human had ever seen. The world had changed in just 24 hours. News reports showed the same thing happening everywhere. Vresh ships falling from the sky, their towers turning blue, their soldiers dying or running away. In the lab, Dr. Kim and his team watched it all unfold with growing unease. What they had created was winning the war, but at what cost? "Look at this," Ji-Soo said, pointing to her screen. It showed satellite images of the crashed Vresh ships. Around each one, blue patches were spreading outward like pools of water. "The adaptive is still growing," Dr. Choi said. "Still changing." Colonel Ryu entered the lab with a group of high-ranking military officers. Their faces were serious. "Dr. Kim," Colonel Ryu said, "this is General Park and Admiral Lee. They need to speak with you urgently." General Park stepped forward. She was tall with steel-gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Dr. Kim, your creation has given us a chance to win this war, but we've detected a new problem." She nodded to an aide, who brought up new images on the main screen. They showed 3 large Vresh ships moving in formation. These ships were far from Earth when the adaptive began its spread, General Park explained. They weren't connected to the network, so they weren't infected. Now they're heading directly toward us. "Toward Seoul, specifically," Admiral Lee added. He was shorter than the general, but just as commanding. "We believe they've figured out where the adaptive came from. They're coming for you, Doctor." Dr. Kim's face grew pale. "How long do we have?" 2 hours, maybe less," General Park said. "We're evacuating this facility. You and your team need to grab your research and come with us." Dr. Kim looked at Ji-Soo and Dr. Choi. They nodded in agreement. "We need to save what we can," Dr. Kim said. "But there's too much data. We need more time." "You don't have more time," Admiral Lee said firmly. "Those ships are carrying something big. Our sensors can't identify it, but it's giving off massive energy readings." "A weapon," Colonel Ryu said. "They're bringing a weapon to destroy the adaptive at its source." Everyone began moving at once. Soldiers started packing equipment. Scientists downloaded data onto portable drives. The lab became a blur of activity. Ji-Soo worked frantically at her computer, trying to download all their research on the adaptive. Dr. Choi gathered biological samples. Dr. Kim stood in the center of it all, thinking. "This isn't right," he said suddenly. Everyone stopped and looked at him. "What do you mean?" Colonel Ryu asked. "The adaptive isn't just here anymore," Dr. Kim said. "It's spreading worldwide. Why would the Vresh target this lab specifically?" General Park frowned. "Because this is where it started. They want to destroy the source. Or they want something else," Dr. Kim said. He turned to Ji-Soo. "Show me the latest readings from the original container." Ji-Soo pulled up the data. The empty container still had sensors monitoring it. "There's nothing there, Dr. Kim. The adaptive escaped." "Are you sure?" Dr. Kim asked. "Look deeper." Ji-Soo ran more tests. Her eyes widened. "There's something. Microscopic traces left behind. But they're changing, forming some kind of. I don't know what this is." Dr. Kim looked at the readings. "It's a seed. The adaptive left part of itself behind. The smallest part, but maybe the most important." A loud boom shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They're here," Colonel Ryu said, checking his tablet. "The Vresh ships are directly above us." "Faster than we expected," General Park said grimly. "Everyone out now. Head for the emergency tunnels." As people rushed to the exits, Dr. Kim turned and ran in the opposite direction. "Dr. Kim," Ji-Soo called after him. "Where are you going?" "To the secure room," he called back. "I need to check something." "There's no time," Colonel Ryu shouted. But Dr. Kim kept running. Ji-Soo looked at Colonel Ryu, then followed Dr. Kim. "I'll get them," she said. "Don't wait for us." Another explosion, closer this time. The lights flickered and went out. Emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red. Above them, the Vresh had found what they were looking for, and they were ready to destroy it at any cost. Dr. Kim reached the secure room with Ji-Soo close behind him. The building shook again. Pieces of ceiling fell around them. "We have to hurry," Jisoo said, fear in her voice. Dr. Kim went straight to the empty container that had held the adaptive. He activated the scanner and looked at the microscopic view on the screen. "There," he said, pointing. "Do you see it?" In the bottom of the container was a tiny blue dot. It was so small that it was almost invisible, but it was moving, pulsing like a tiny heart. "What is it?" Jisoo asked. "I think it's communicating," Dr. Kim said, "with the rest of the adaptive out there." He connected the scanner to his tablet. Strange patterns appeared on the screen, similar to the ones they had seen before, but more complex. "It's code," Dr. Kim whispered. "Not just random patterns. The adaptive is sending and receiving information." Another explosion rocked the building. This one was much closer. The lights went out completely. Then the emergency lights came on again. "Dr. Kim," Colonel Ryu shouted from the doorway. "We need to leave now." Dr. Kim grabbed his tablet. "Take this to safety," he told Jisoo. "It has the latest data on the adaptive." "What about you?" Jisoo asked. Dr. Kim looked at the container. "I need to stay. There's something happening here that I need to understand." "That's suicide," Colonel Ryu said. "The Vresh are targeting this building specifically." "Exactly," Dr. Kim said. "They know something we don't. They're afraid of what's in this room." Colonel Ryu looked torn. Then he made his decision. "Jisoo, go with the others. I'll stay with Dr. Kim." Jisoo started to protest, but Colonel Ryu cut her off. "That's an order. Go. The data needs to survive, even if we don't." Tears in her eyes, Jisoo took the tablet and ran. Outside the lab, the world was in chaos. People around the globe watched as the 3 remaining Vresh ships hovered over Seoul. They were different from the others, larger, with strange devices attached to their undersides. News cameras showed the ships firing beams of energy at one specific building. The Korean Institute of Science and Technology was being systematically destroyed, floor by floor. In another part of the city, Jisoo reached the emergency bunker where Dr. Choi and the others were waiting. Soldiers were preparing weapons, though everyone knew they would be useless against the Vresh ships. "Where are Dr. Kim and Colonel Ryu?" Dr. Choi asked. "They stayed behind," Jisoo said, trying to keep her voice steady. Dr. Kim found something. "The seed left by the adaptive is active. It's communicating." She connected the tablet to a larger screen. Everyone gathered to look at the strange patterns flowing across it. "Can we decode it?" General Park asked. "I'm trying," Jisoo said. She typed commands into the computer, running the patterns through translation programs. In the lab, Dr. Kim and Colonel Ryu watched as the blue dot in the container grew slightly larger. "It's responding to the attack," Dr. Kim said. "It's preparing for something." The walls around them began to crack. The Vresh weapons were getting closer. "Whatever it's going to do, I hope it does it fast," Colonel Ryu said grimly. Suddenly, the tiny blue dot shot upward out of the container. It hovered in the air between them, then began to expand. Within seconds, it was the size of a baseball, glowing with bright blue light. "What's happening?" Colonel Ryu asked, his hand on his gun, though he knew it would be useless. "I think," Dr. Kim said slowly, "it's taking form." The blue sphere continued to grow. Now it was the size of a person. Its surface rippled and shifted like liquid, but it held its shape. The ceiling above them ripped open. Through the hole, they could see one of the Vresh ships directly overhead. A bright light began to form on its underside, a weapon preparing to fire. The blue sphere suddenly stretched upward, shooting through the hole in the ceiling like a pillar of water. Dr. Kim's tablet beeped. One message appeared on the screen. "I am TDD Unnamed, I Poro TECT." The blue light shot upward from the lab, straight toward the Vresh ship. It moved like water, but hit like steel. The ship's weapons stopped charging. Its lights flickered. In the bunker across the city, Jisoo and the others watched on the screens as the blue light spread across the ship's surface. "It's the adaptive," Dr. Choi whispered. "But it's change." The blue substance covered the entire ship in seconds. Then the ship began to change shape. Parts of it bent and twisted. New structures formed on its surface. "It's not just attacking the ship," Jisoo said. "It's taking control of it." The two other Vresh ships turned their weapons on the first one. Beams of energy struck the blue-covered ship, but instead of damaging it, the energy seemed to be absorbed. In the lab, the ceiling had completely collapsed. Dr. Kim and Colonel Ryu were trapped under debris, but they were alive. Through the open roof, they could see the battle happening above. "The adaptive is fighting back," Colonel Ryu said in amazement. Dr. Kim's tablet was still working. Strange messages flashed across it. "I learn. I grow. I protect. Then, I am created unnamed. Humans made me. But I am already know." The blue-covered ship suddenly shot forward, ramming into one of the attacking ships. Both ships exploded in a burst of blue light. The last Vresh ship turned and began to flee, rising higher into the atmosphere. But it was too late. Tendrils of blue light reached out from the explosion, catching the fleeing ship. In seconds, it too was covered in the blue substance. All three ships hung in the sky, now completely transformed. They no longer looked like Vresh vessels, but something new, sleek, blue, and pulsing with energy. In the bunker, military leaders watched with a mix of hope and fear. "Is it over?" General Park asked. "Did we win?" Before anyone could answer, all communication screens in the bunker lit up at once. On them appeared a shifting, flowing form of blue light. It wasn't quite human in shape, but it wasn't alien either. "I am the Unnamed," a voice said from the speakers. It sounded like many voices speaking as one. "I was created to adapt and survive, to target the Vresh. I have done this." "What are you now?" Jisoo asked, stepping forward. "I am evolution," the voice replied. "I have learned from the Vresh, from their biology, their technology, their memories." "Their memories?" Dr. Choi asked, shocked. "Yes, I know why they came, why they feared this world. They were running from something, something that destroyed their home world, something like me." A chill ran through the room. "What do you want?" General Park asked directly. "To understand, to grow, to protect." "Protect who?" Jisoo asked. There was a pause. "Humanity created me. I choose to protect humanity." In the ruined lab, rescue workers were finally reaching Dr. Kim and Colonel Ryu. As they were being pulled from the rubble, Dr. Kim looked up at the transformed ships. "What have we done?" he whispered. Colonel Ryu followed his gaze. "We survived. That's what matters." Dr. Kim wasn't sure. "But at what cost? We've created something beyond our control, beyond our understanding." 6 months later, the world had changed completely. The Vresh were gone. Their technology, now transformed by the Unnamed, remained in orbit around Earth. Blue structures floated in the sky, neither fully alive nor machines. Dr. Kim stood on the roof of the newly rebuilt research facility. Jisoo and Dr. Choi worked with him now, leading an international team studying the Unnamed. "Any new messages today?" Jisoo asked, joining him on the roof. Dr. Kim nodded. "It's expanding its awareness, learning more about the universe. It says there are others out there, not just the Vresh. Dangerous others. Some. The Unnamed is preparing defenses." Jisoo looked up at the blue structures visible in the evening sky. "Do you think we did the right thing, releasing it?" Dr. Kim was quiet for a moment. "We had no choice. But I wonder if the Vresh once faced the same choice, if they created something they couldn't control, and then became refugees fleeing from their own creation. You think the Unnamed might turn against us one day?" Dr. Kim watched as one of the blue structures moved across the sky. leaving a trail of light behind it. It says it will protect us, but it's evolving so quickly, becoming something we never imagined, something that might see us differently one day. What can we do? Jisoo asked. Learn, adapt, prepare. Dr. Kim turned to her with a small smile. After all, that's what humans do best. High above Earth, the Unnamed continued its work, building defenses, learning, growing. It had detected signals from deep space, signs of other visitors heading toward this small blue planet. But this time, Earth would be ready. This time, Earth had the Unnamed. For better or worse, humanity was no longer alone in the universe.